Hello. So today we are going to be talking about special education policy in Guatemala. Okay, let's get started. So it's called the Law of Attention to People with Disabilities. This is a general law in Guatemala that speaks to people with disabilities in general, but also works with the Ministry of Education to create laws about specifically for children with disabilities in the public education system. So 1998 was the first time any sort of policy like this came into effect because there was no existing laws that stated children with disabilities had a right to public education. So this was a very basic law that started in 1998. Now, in 2001, the government realized that basically nothing had been done from this broad statement. Students in special education were regularly kicked out of public schools because teachers said, "I'm sorry, I'm not trained in this. I don't know how to serve your students, and I need to educate the other children." So in 2001, the government made some specific changes that made the law more specific. They made a few key provisions. They said that teachers in every public school needed training in what special needs students could benefit from in the classroom. They said that special needs students needed to be integrated into social and community activities in the school, and that special needs lesson plans needed to be developed in each public school system. Now, what's happening now? So the most recent data in 2007 was done by both government agencies and various nonprofits from Guatemala and around the world, and actually it was discovered that only 1% of special needs students in public schools have their needs met. Why is this? Well, only 148 teachers in the entire Guatemalan teacher population in the public school system are actually trained in special education, which is what this chart represents. This little sliver is 1%. That's how many teachers are trained to actually deal with these kids. So you can imagine even the teachers that do want to help these children don't have the proper training and feel a little bit overwhelmed by this task. So a quick video quiz. Go ahead, pause the video. I want to ask you all, can you remember when the first attempt at special education inclusion policy was made in Guatemala? Go ahead and pause, discuss, and then restart the video. Okay. If you guessed 1998, that's correct. That's when the first statement was made. You remember in 2001 there were those specific changes to the law. In 2007, surveys were done that, as we said here, SOS, it's discovered nothing's really happening from this policy. Now today, I wrote here Vida Guatemala. That's an example of a nonprofit system that's actually stepping in, because they see there's still such a great need for special education and public school teachers don't feel prepared. Other types of associations are having to fill these gaps for teachers. So Association Vida is actually public school teachers who decided to receive special education training on their own and start their own alternative school. They did this for two main reasons, because they realized that although there is this government policy that says these students deserve a right to education, the government wasn't providing resources to follow through on that. So Vida decided to create a nonprofit to give these students who are being kicked out of public schools with disabilities some sort of education. But really, what are the effects across society and for students with special needs, parents, and teachers? So even teachers who want to help special needs children don't have the resources. There's no money given by the government for this type of training, even though the policy demands it. Special needs children are regularly told that they have no place in the regular education system. I discovered this when I did interviews with parents who send their children to Vida, the nonprofit. Also, parents are the people who are forced to find and pay for alternatives. Overall, special education services are not seen as something the government needs to pay for, even though this policy has been in place since 1998, 20 years now. So in the greater society, members of Vida, as well as the report that I'm quoting here, states that in general people feel people with disabilities don't really fit in. And not only in the education system, do teachers feel This is not their responsibility often to educate these students, but also that in general, students aren't used to socializing with people with disabilities, and they feel they don't really fit in society after the K through 12 education phase. Finally, works cited. So I found my own experience through my work in VITA in Guatemala, but also these two reports talking about discrimination in special education, specifically in Guatemala. All right, thank you.